Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here for this meeting with the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Tonight's Town Board meeting is actually, we have a split meeting or a dual meeting tonight. The first part of our meeting tonight is a voting meeting. This is the meeting that was moved from July 3rd to this evening. And the second part of the meeting tonight is our regular Town Board work session. So we're going to begin the meeting with the voting meeting from July 3rd. And then we're going to go right into the July 11th Town Board work session. But before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. So could everybody please rise? And Councilman Schneider, would you lead us tonight?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you please remain standing for a moment of silence and reflect upon the sacrifices that our servicemen and women make every day, both foreign and domestic, as well as their families and friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Okay, once again, good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here, and thank you all at home for watching tonight's Town Board meeting. And once again, the first part of the meeting is our voting meeting. And the first item, for the record, all Town Board members are present with the exception of Councilman Borelli, who is on a well-deserved vacation out west, enjoying himself, I'm sure. Everyone else is here. Ann Spofford, our town clerk, is all the way down to my right. And Greg Fulchetti, our Carmel Town Council, is up in Cooperstown with his boys playing in a baseball tournament, a 12 and under baseball tournament. And I heard that they're doing pretty good. From what I was told, they won a few games already, so that's good news. Okay, so the first item is to accept Town Board minutes of June 6th, 13th, and 20th. I need a motion to accept those.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. First resolution tonight is a resolution in support of the issuance of a permanent basic life support first response operating certificate. Councilman Schneider, would you read Resolution 1, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby supports the issuance by the New York State Department of Health to the Town of Paterson EMS a permanent basic life support first response operating certificate so that Paterson EMS may operate as a basic life support agency, and be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to issue and sign a letter of support in general form as attached hereto and made a part hereof for transmission to Town of Paterson EMS together with a certified copy of this resolution. I offer this as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 2, is a resolution authorizing a request for proposals pursuant to property maintenance law. And there's going to be one correction or one change on this resolution,
Yeah, I was
Susie.
going to say 39.
Is
this
off,
one's
yes, coming off,
That-
right.
That's what I was just,
So 39 McAlpin Avenue was taken
Thank you.
care of
yep, I just pulled up the email.
by, well, I'm not sure who
Well,
took
Mike
care of
Car-
it,
Mike
but Mike
Carnazza
had sent us an
did.
email and notified us that it was taken care of. So it's amended to the rest of the resolution. That's the only part that's been removed.
Okay. I can read it now?
Yeah, you can read it
Okay.
now, sir.
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, in accordance with Chapter 114 of the Town of Carmel Town Code titled Property Maintenance, hereby authorizes Town of Carmel Director of Codes Enforcement, Michael Carnazza, to solicit request proposals for the cleanup and correction of town code violations existing for the property located at 66 Orchard Road, Town of Carmel, tax map number 74.34-1-39. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci and Councilman Schneider. Roll call vote.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 3, is a resolution authorizing a chess table installation for Eagle Scout project at Mahopac Chamber Park. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 3, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, in connection with the proposed Eagle Scout project by Christopher Nealon of the Boy Scouts of America Scout Troop 371, hereby authorizes the installation of a chess table at Mahopac Chamber Park in accordance with memorandum and plans provided by Director of Recreation and Parks James R. Gilchrist, dated June 12, 2000, 2018, amend that resolution to the 2018, subject to any required jurisdictional approvals, and be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates for all vendors and contractors proposed to perform improvements in connection with this authorization in form acceptable to town council, the aforesaid work may commence. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 4, is a resolution authorizing payment of 2017 claims from fiscal year 2018 operating funds. Councilman Schneider, would you read 4, please?
Whereas the Office of the Town Comptroller has received late voucher claims for expenditures incurred in fiscal year 2017, which were not encumbered, and whereas the Town Board must specifically authorize and approve payment of fiscal year 2017 claims from funds budgeted for fiscal year 2018. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the various water districts and sewer districts of the Town of Carmel, hereby authorizes the payment of the sum of $3,205 to Phoenix Environmental Laboratories of Manchester, Connecticut, for sampling services rendered in 2017 to various Town of Carmel water districts and sewer districts. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 5, is a resolution, amended resolution authorizing settlement of litigation. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 5, please?
Sure. Whereas there is currently pending in the Supreme Court, County of Putnam, State of New York, under index number 500487/2017, a certain lawsuit entitled Shalini Barnwall versus the Town of Carmel regarding the tax assessments for the property known and designated Town of Carmel Tax Map number 44.15-1-37. And whereas a proposed settlement of the litigation has been negotiated by Glenn Drosy, Town Assessor, and Special Counsel Gregory L. Fulchetti, both of whom have recommended approval of the proposed settlement. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the settlement of the aforementioned litigation as recommended. And be it further resolved that Special Counsel Gregory L. Fulchetti is hereby authorized to sign, on behalf of the Town of Carmel, the stipulation of settlement and corresponding consent judgment reflecting the terms of the settlement. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution order calling for a public hearing in the matter of the increase and improvement of the facilities of the Carmel Sewer District Number 1 in the Town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York, and the date for that is August 8th, 2018. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 6, please?
Yes, I offer this resolution as pre-filed with the town clerk. I am going to paraphrase it and offer it as a paraphrase resolution. Whereas the Town Board of Town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York, has caused to prepare a map, plan, and report, including an estimate of cost pursuant to subject 202-B of the town law related to the increase and improvements of the facilities for the Carmel Sewer District Number 1 in the Town of Carmel, Putnam County, New York, the sewer district, consisting of the purchase and installation of approximately 450 linear feet of 8-inch sewer pipe, including 3 manholes, 2 service laterals, and restoration of New York State DOT right-of-way, including original furnishings, equipment, machinery, apparatuses, appointances, I killed that one, and incidental improvements and expenses in connections thereof, a maximum estimated cost of $170,000. This is a Type 2 action under SEQR, that is the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Whereas it is now desired to call a public hearing on the questions of the increase and improvements of the facility of said sewer district, and the public hearing will be at the Town Hall in Mahopac, New York, in said town, on August 8th, 2018, at 7 p.m. Prevailing time on the question of increase and improvement of the facility of the sewer district. Again, that's offered as a paraphrase of the resolution. It is pre-filed. It is a public hearing on August 8, 2018, at 7 o'clock for the improvement and increase of sewer district number 1. I offer the resolution.
Second?
Offered by Councilman Lupinacci, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, and the seventh and final resolution for the voting meeting is a resolution authorizing payment for construction debris removal. Councilman Schneider, would you read 7, please?
Did we want to discuss this first?
I'm fine with discussing it. I'll second the motion to discuss it.
You need a second, right? Okay, you made, okay.
This is a resolution that's just in regards to the disposal of the 8 cottages that were on the property known as Swan Cove that we had purchased. This is approximately $15,000 of the bill is for the disposal fee itself, and then another little over $5,000 total is going to be for the transportation and for the equipment. The rest is volunteered services that were put on by Mike's Blue Wheels as well as the Ferrari family. Did we want to have any discussion in regards to that tonnage?
My discussion is I'm fine with passing the transportation and the equipment use. I'm looking at the approval by the engineering department for the tonnage, and the engineering department is making their approval subject to the town board approving it. That's really not an approval. I'm comfortable, personally, 1 of 5, I'm comfortable signing off on the transportation, which is about $405,000, which is under the limitation that Supervisor Schmidt is allowed to sign off for, and the $850 for the equipment use. But the tonnage, per the original or the latest reconciliation that I just saw, I'm fine with that. I just don't understand why the engineering department would have their approval subject to our approval of the resolution. They approve it, and then we
Approve it
pass
on them.
the resolution based on their approval, based upon their due diligence. So personally, 1 of 5, I say we hold off on the dumping tonnage until next week. We will be able to, we could use this as a work session item. We could vote on it next week once the engineering department reconciles it and signs off on it without any type of subject matter. And then, but going forward, right now, tonight, we could pass the transportation costs and the equipment rental because, those were used by the volunteers. So that's my take, 1 of 5, and you guys could do whatever you'd like. I just don't understand how the engineering department could write an approval subject to the town board's approval. That's not approving anything for the town board. That's basically the town board approving the reconciliation and the resolution. So I need, if Mary Ann would like to weigh in, if you've seen the approval or seen the reconciliation, I'm all for that also, because it's a discussion matter.
Marianne, did you see the note? There was a note on the bottom of the voucher that was signed off by the engineering
I
department.
did see that note.
Is there an explanation for that?
It just says it's signed off by the engineering, an officer in the engineering department, and it says subject to town board approval. He authorizes department approval, but it does have a note on there, subject to town board
That's
approval.
never happened before, correct? I mean, I don't
You ever
remember
seen
ever
that?
seeing
I
that.
have not, no.
In the years that
I've
I've been
never
here.
saw that.
I have
And
not.
again,
I have not.
the engineering department can't approve something subject to the town board approval when the town board's asking for a reconciliation, and the engineering department and the comptroller, you've already written an email saying that you
Yeah, I-
approved it. I just would like the engineering blessing.
Vouchers come to my department, and they're not paid until they're approved
Correct.
by a department head, and then if there's a necessary resolution, then that, I would wait on that as well,
Correct.
but I require both, if it's necessary,
Correct.
but,
The only concern that I would have is with the
I don't have that in
trucking
front of me,
cost and the equipment cost, it's over the $5,000
Two
threshold.
items. You could do two
But you know
resolutions
what?
for two items. You could do a resolution to pass the transportation for $4,470, and then you could
87.
do a
4,487.
resolution to
Do
do,
we even need a resolution for anything below 5,000 on expenditure?
You don't have to. I mean, I recommend that you get a resolution, anything over 5,000.
But
I'm
we
I'm
do
fine,
No,
I'm
but
fine
you could
doing a
do-
resolution over $5,000.
You could amend this
but-
resolution, and we can pay that tomorrow.
Okay.
You
so
can
why
amend
don't we
this
do that then?
resolution.
We amend it to those two. Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be 5337.
And then next week, we could have the resolution, because next week's a voting session, because this is a voting session, then we have the work session. This item could, be, a work session item, because we're having a discussion right now. And then we could vote next week on the $15,000 dumping.
And Mary Ann,
Which
your
again, I don't have a problem with, I just don't understand the engineering's
comment.
The notation on there.
approval. I've never seen that.
I never have either. And I think, Kenny, you said you've never seen
I
it
never have,
either.
I never have, no.
Yeah.
That's a first,
Yeah.
I'll tell you
And
that.
Mary Ann, you're okay with the receipts or the invoices and then the line out, I guess they would say?
Yeah, I mean, I did review it, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't obviously on site, so.
Oh, yeah, no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
but as far as what was submitted,
Yeah, and even the weights seem
the-
appropriate.
yeah, the second time it was, yeah, I was okay with it, so.
Okay, so,
So you want to,
yeah, what I'll
You
do
meant-
is, just for background before I read the resolution, we're going to be approving for the trucking and the equipment, which will be a total of $5,337. The remaining is $15,011.36, which is for 144 tons disposal.
Yep.
So be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes payment to Mike's Blue Wheels of Mahopac, New York, for services rendered in connection with construction debris removal for the premises of 628 Route 6, Mahopac, New York, in the amount of $5,337, and in accordance with the invoice dated July 5th, 2018, and be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any necessary budget modifications required in connection with the payment authorized hereunder. I offer the resolution as read and amended.
an amendment.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Schneider, seconded by Councilman Lubnacci. Roll call vote?
Councilman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilman Lubnacci.
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes. Motion carried, thank you. Okay, so that concludes the voting meeting agenda for tonight. Is there anybody here that would like to comment on the agenda items that we voted on this evening? If so, come on up at this time. If not, we're going to go right on to the work session. Okay, there being none, I need a motion to close the voting meeting.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lubnacci and Councilman Schneider. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I need a motion to open the work session.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Schneider. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the work session is now open at this time. First item on the work session agenda is a review of town board minutes of June 27, 2018. Unless any town board members would like to comment on those town board minutes, we'll move on. Okay, there being none, number one on the work session agenda is a review of 2017 annual CAFRA report. This is the comprehensive annual financial report. We have Alan Cassay here with us this evening with PKF O'Connor Davies LLP. Alan's going to be presenting the CAFRA report to the town board and to the community as well. And Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is going to be assisting Alan as well, presenting the CAFRA report. So, ladies and gentlemen.
First time we're using
Oh, we're
the,
using the smart TV. Yeah.
You should also have a copy of the handout?
Yeah.
yeah, the smart TV's for that TV.
Oh, okay. Good evening. As Supervisor Schmidt said, I'm going to go over the town's audit for the year end December 31st, 2017. So here's the agenda. We're going to go through the results of the audit, which is the auditor's opinion, the fund balance, the general fund retrospective, the general fund budget to actual summary, general fund budget to actual for the revenues, the expenditures, and then the other town fund summaries, and then some closing points. Okay, in the audit results, basically this is a extract from the independent auditor's report, our opinion, which is the only piece of paper in this 170-page document that actually belongs to us. Everything else belongs to the town. Basically, we completed our audit of the 2017 financial statements of the town of Carmel in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America. The objective of the audit was to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free of material statement. And as part of the work, we reviewed management's accounting estimates and accounting treatment afforded all the accounting matters, and we found those all to be reasonable. The scope of the audit was directed at the evaluation of all significant aspects of the operations of the town to reduce audit risks to an acceptable level. Our primary focus was not on the individual transactions, but on the balances on the financial statements that we're opining on taken as a whole. And we were satisfied that the scope of our audit was sufficient to enable us to express our opinion on the financial statements. And we have issued an unmodified or a clean opinion, the best opinion that you could receive for the year ended December 31st, 2017. I guess you could see that. This is the fund balance of the general fund. I consolidated some of the categories of the fund balance, but it goes from 2014 through 2017. The last column on the left shows the increase from 16 to 17. The first category is non-spendable, which are prepaid expenditures. Then the restricted fund balance, you have some money put aside for retirement. In 2017, that stayed the same for the past 4 years. Compensated absences, which are basically employee benefit accrued liability. All the employees earn time that when they retire, they'll get paid for it. So you set up a reserve to fund that when that occurs. You've committed certain amounts of your fund balance. In 2014 through 17, you've committed $400,000 for future budgets. You've committed in the current year $1 million for future capital projects, and also you've committed monies for vehicle purchases. Okay?
Is that our presentation?
Pardon me?
Is that our presentation?
Yes.
Could you go into presentation mode, because it just might be bigger for the people in the audience or on TV?
Could I do what? I'm sorry?
Go into presentation mode.
Do you know how to do that? I'm not technically savvy. I could, if you give me numbers, but aside from that.
It's thinking.
There it is, that's bigger.
Now you can read it, and then you just go up or down.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, that's bigger.
Thank you. Okay, so that's your committed fund balance, which basically is established by the board by a resolution, and those funds could be uncommitted at any time by taking the same action. Then you have your assigned fund balance, which are purchases on order, which are encumbrances for goods and services received during the year, but you have a purchase order, but you haven't received the goods and services, and that's $379,000. And you've appropriated $770,000 from the current year's budget to balance the 2018 budget. Okay? And then you'll see that the total unassigned fund balance from 2014 to 2017 increased 21% over the past 4 years, and the total fund balance increased 18%. And if you notice, in 2017, the unassigned fund balance is currently $3,487,000, and that represents about 18% of your 2018 appropriation budget, which is, very healthy, okay? Anything above 10, 12, 15% is considered good. So you're in the ballpark. Okay, here's the general fund budget to actual summary. You have your total revenues, $18.9 million. In the original budget, the final budget was comparable, $18,975,000, and the actual came in at $19,348,000, generating a positive budgetary variance of $373,000. On the expenditure side, the original budget was $18,172,000. The final budget was increased slightly to $18,819,000, and the actual came in at $17,380,000, generating again a positive budgetary variance of $1,438,000. So just from operations alone, the two revenues and expenditures generated a total positive budgetary variance of $1,811,000. Then you have your other financing sources and uses, which are transfers in and transfers out. And in the current year, the actual was a net use of $690,000. So the third number up from the bottom, the net change in fund balance, $1,277,000 was your surplus for the year. And if you look across from the original budget, the bracketed $2,275, in the original budget, that's what you anticipated using from fund balance. That number was increased slightly in the final budget to $533,000, but the actual results showed a positive $1,277,000, thereby generating an overall positive budgetary variance of $1,810,000. And if you add the net change in fund balance, the $1,277,000, to the fund balance at the beginning of the year, the $7,133,000, you ended the year with a total fund balance of $8,410,000. And here's a more detailed analysis of the general fund actual revenues. Again, we went over the original budget, 18.8, the final 18.9, and the actual came in at 19.3. Some of the larger variances were in the license and permits, had a $100,000 positive variance, and that was for building zoning and the sanitation fees. The state aid had a mortgage tax of positive variance of $500,000, $50,000. That was also offset by police equipment grant, which had a negative variance of $17,000. The miscellaneous had a total variance of $64,000, and of that, spread through various categories. So overall, you had a 2.6% positive variance compared to the original budget. And revenues, the overall increase of $202,000 compared to the prior year was up about 1.1%. Just went over that. Now you have your expenditures. The original budget was 18.8. The final budget was 19.5, and the actual came in at $18,070,000, again generating the positive variance of $1,438,000. And some of the larger variances here, you can see in general government support, you had a positive variance of $451,000, and that was basically spread throughout all the categories. The assessor had a positive variance of $54,000, the central data was $63,000, and your contingency account had a positive variance of $92,000. In public safety, you had a positive variance of $632,000, and of that amount, $576 was from the police department. The culture and recreation had a positive variance overall of $285,000, and the majority of that came from the parks. So overall, you had a positive budget variance of $1,438,000, and again, the total budget had a positive variance of $1,810,000. These are some of the other funds within the town. I just gave you a summary of the activity for the year. The highway fund had a net change in fund balance, the third number up from the bottom, of $309,000, which resulted in an ending fund balance of $1,753,000. The special districts fund had a net change of $2.4 million, increasing the fund balance from $10,785,000 to $13,148,000. And you should know that in the special districts funds, in the fire and the ambulance districts within the special districts, in 2016, there was a GASB pronouncement number 73, which required the service awards programs to taken out of the agency fund, where they were in 2015, and moved into the special districts funds. So that's why, of that amount, $6.5 million relates to the fire districts and the ambulance, and the total fund balance of the $13 million, because that money is basically, can only be used for the fire districts and the ambulance, and that's about $6.5 million, okay? The debt service fund had a decrease in their fund balance of $202,000, but they ended the year with a total positive fund balance of $1,488,000. The Capital Projects Fund had a decrease in fund balance of $206,000, increasing the deficit to $2,524,000. But you should note that in the Capital Projects Fund, you have bands, which are bond anticipation notes, short-term borrowings that are outstanding to the tune of $3.9 million. And when those bands are redeemed, they're recorded as revenue. So that deficit will be eliminated as those bands are redeemed. Okay? And then you have your non-major government, which is special purpose, and that had a positive surplus of $4,703, and total ending fund balance of $1,257,000. So all the other funds do have positive variances, and the Capital Projects Fund, even though there's a deficit now and the bands are paid down, that will reverse and will become a positive fund balance as well. Okay? Okay, just to summarize, we issued an unmodified opinion, a clean opinion. The town has received the Certificate of Achievement in Financial Reporting for the 25th consecutive year. And that's quite a achievement, because if you've looked at the report, you'll see that the last 30 or 40 pages in the report are all statistical information prepared by Mary Ann and her department. In addition, there's a transmittal letter, and there's a lot that goes into that report. The town has maintained its AA1 rating for Moody's, and basically Moody's definition of the AA1 rating is that obligations are judged to be of high quality and very low credit risk. And we issued a management letter. It's a report to those charged with governance. There were no material weaknesses noted. There were a few control deficiencies, nothing of a significant nature. And in addition, there are new GASB pronouncements that will be issued in 2018, 19, and 20 that may affect the town, but all of these activities will not affect your budgeting process. Okay? It's just basically note disclosures and recording of certain information. Okay? If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, Alan, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate presenting the CAFR report.
My pleasure.
Yep, Mary Ann? Yep, thank you, too. Jonathan, do you have any questions for Alan or Mary Ann? Susie?
No,
You good?
I don't think any real questions. I mean, prior to this, I was actually becoming a little bit concerned about future years and our possibility of breaking a 2% cap. But seeing that we're increasing our fund balances so drastically, I think it's become, and seeing what the favorable variances on the expenditures alone for different departments, I'm becoming a little bit more comfortable with what the next couple of years are going to hold in regards to the 2% cap. So, again, I appreciate all the information. Mary Ann, great job as always, and thank you. Keep up the good work.
Okay, thanks, guys.
You're very
Thanks,
welcome.
Alan. Thanks, Mary Ann. Okay, next two items, actually, on the work session agenda is with Mary Ann Maxwell, the Town Comptroller. The number two.
And he shut it off. Oh, that's it?
Just power it off.
It's not my TV.
No.
There we go.
Thanks, Alan. Great job.
Sorry. Sorry. Try not to touch it. Okay.
Okay, Mary Ann, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Number two is to consider request to adopt the standard workday
Yes.
for elected and appointed officials.
Okay. All right, this is to adopt the standard workday and reporting resolution for elected and appointed officials. Elected and appointed officials are required to submit a 3-month record of activities for all members who are not paid hourly or do not participate in a timekeeping system that tracks accruals. 3-month record of activity is valid for 8 years. So after 8 years, you'd have to submit another record of activity. Good? Okay. The standard workday and reporting resolution must be passed by the governing board. Resolutions must be publicly posted for at least 30 days, and the resolutions must be submitted to the Office of the State Comptroller after the posting.
Cut it in half.
So these are resolutions RS 2417A and RS 2417B. So there are members, the members that are on here are either elected and appointed officials that don't punch a time clock system, so we have to report these record of activities results to the retirement system so that they're calculated, their days are calculated correctly to the report to the New York State retirement system. So does anybody has any questions on the process or the results?
It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Ann Spofford has the originals of everything that was submitted.
What is it, every election cycle, Mary Ann, that the council people have to file this?
Yes, and that's why the term is on here.
Okay.
And if it exceeds 8 years, you have to submit again. You can recertify, or I think it's, recertify your ROA within that 8-year period if you're reelected. But you do have to, after 8 years, submit it again. So that's why Councilwoman McDonough had to resubmit in January, or this year, because that 8-year period was up, so.
And I'm not on here because I'm already in the New York State retirement system.
You're retired as a police officer, so you're not in it.
So
Right,
I don't, right.
Exactly.
So we don't have to report
Right.
my hours. Got it, okay.
And there are only, certain board members of the zoning board and the ECB on here. Not all of them have joined. I think most of them have. If they're not on here, then they would have submitted already in the prior, I think we did this in November as well.
And I'm going to ask that, John, right? Mary Ann, is there a reason that Councilman Borelli's not on here?
He did not join the retirement system.
Oh, okay,
He waived it.
he did?
Yeah.
Okay,
He did.
all right,
He waived it. He
All right.
signed the paper waiving his,
okay. Just wanted to ask because I
Yeah.
didn't see him on here.
yep, we have a document that says
Okay,
that he waived it, so.
all right. All right, any further questions regarding this item? The standard workday reporting resolution? Okay, next.
No, you're good for 8 years, yeah, so,
We were covered last time.
yeah, I think you guys are good for, until next year.
Exactly.
You're good till the end of next year, John?
Yeah.
Okay. You too.
Okay.
All right, next, number 3, Mary Ann Maxwell. This is to consider request to authorize budget revisions for May and June of 2018.
Okay. This is to authorize budget revisions for May and June of 2018. The first one in the general fund is to provide for a retirement payout from accrued time and benefits. This is one of the highway employees in the general fund, retired earlier this year, and his payout was $33,870, and that comes from the compensated absence fund balance. Number 2 in the general fund, we're transferring for salary and benefit increases in the Justice Court Department per approved resolutions. So the total increase in salary is $19,861, and the benefits is $1,589. Number 3 is a transfer for salary increase per approved resolution in the tax receiver's office. That increase in salary was $2,858. Number 4, we're transferring for a tax receiver software upgrade. That is coming from the contingent account. That's for the tax receiver software, the BAS software that is going to be installed in that office, and that's $27,850. Number 5, we're transferring $1,300 for the additional grass cutting services at Town Hall. Actually, I don't think it's Town Hall. I think it's the Highway Department and the
The historical
yeah,
center.
I think
Yeah.
they're cutting that grass as well, so we had to transfer more funds for that. Number 6, we're transferring for lake patrol expenses. This is for the police department to cover the lake patrol. It's an estimate transfer of $30,000 in overtime and $6,000 in contractual expenses. Year-to-date through June 30th, the lake patrol overtime is $6,659.
Just important to know, they all within the police department.
It's in the police budget, yes. Yes, it's just a separate line, yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yes. It's coming from the police department, yep.
And Mary Ann,
Budget's whole,
Yes, exactly.
for the public to know.
Yep,
they may
absolutely.
get some of that back, right?
And yes, we will submit that to the county and the state for reimbursement.
Okay.
Yes. So we will get a certain percentage back of that. In the Lake Secor Park District, we're transferring $800 for utility expense. In multiple water districts, 1, 8, 10, and 13, we're providing for emergency repairs, and this is coming from an insurance claim. In Water District 13, again, we're transferring for emergency repairs, and that's coming from the repair reserve. In Mahopac Lighting District, we're transferring for contractual expenses of $2,500. And in the Camarda Park Capital Fund, we're providing for capital paving expense from a DASNY state aid grant, and that's $50,000. And then the Carmel Water District Consolidated Capital Fund, I just set this fund up, and this is going to be where we're going to charge all of the water meter expenses. And then once we figure out where the new water meters these are the radio read meters. Once we figure out where they're going to be installed first, that's when we'll move it to the correct water fund. So this is just a consolidated fund that I set up so that we can, pay the vendors, and then once everything's installed, we're gonna, between the engineering department and the controller's office, we're gonna be tracking it and then allocate it correctly to the correct water funds, water districts, capital funds. Some water district capital funds or some water districts are healthy and they won't have to borrow. They have healthy fund balance, and they, possibly won't have to borrow. Some districts, District 2, unfortunately, is the biggest district, so they probably will have to borrow, but, okay? So I just wanted to explain that fund a little bit to you. Okay, and that's it for budget revisions.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks, Marion. Any questions, anybody? Nope, okay. All right, thanks, Marion.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, the last one, the chief, Mike Kazari, he asked me if I could cover this one for him this evening. This is consider request to authorize payment for 2016 and 17 claims from the 2018 operating budget. So Marion, may just want to just stay for a second. These were 2 invoices that the chief just received recently that were invoices that were approved and training that 4 officers attended in 2016 for the tactical conference, for the New York Tactical Training Conference and Expo in 2016. They attended it. There was a purchase order that was submitted for the officers to attend this conference. And evidently, we didn't receive a invoice. We didn't receive any invoices from the Tactical Training Conference folks that hosted it, the Officers Association that hosted the conference. And they just recently enrolled to attend the 2018 Tactical Training Conference. So when the officers showed up there, they were advised by the Tactical Training Officers Association, but that there were outstanding invoices that hadn't been paid yet.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know the department heads do their due diligence as far as, really it's the account clerks in the departments that, do their due diligence to get, to reach out to the vendors and make sure that they submit the invoices before we close the year. But, I think we just passed a resolution tonight with the engineering office. It happens, you reach out to the vendors, they say, oh, no, everything's paid, but then something shows up 6 months later. Or for this circumstance, it's like a year later, so. But we did check to make sure that those were not paid. We did, yeah.
And they weren't paid.
They were not paid.
Mary Ann, is there anything we could do, I can understand maybe a year, but from 2016,
I know, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and when they went in 2017, that should have been, when they
16
registered
should
in
have been.
17, they should have.
When they went to 2017, why didn't they say then?
Right.
Hey, you guys owe us for
small.
last
Exactly,
year?
yeah. Yeah.
Is there any way, Mary Ann, just kind of piggyback on what Susie said. Is there any way to, where the department heads or whoever is responsible for processing the vouchers and the vendor claim forms along with the invoices, is there any way for them to track those so that, let's say that the invoice hasn't been submitted, there was a purchase order
Well, we
number that
do,
was
we do.
issued?
We have an outstanding purchase order report, and the Comptroller's Office sends that to the departments and asks them to follow up with the
With the vendor?
vendors, with the vendors that are listed on the outstanding purchase order report. And the police department did reach out to those vendors, and the vendors said, no, we have not, or never got back to them, saying that, submit an invoice, or never submitted an invoice. So we do, we have an outstanding purchase order report, we submit it to the department head several times throughout the year, and especially more when we're getting ready to close the year. And they reach out to the vendors, if they never get an invoice, we close out the purchase order. And then the encumbrance goes away, once you close out the purchase order. I mean, we do, reach out several times, but that's what happened with this one. I think Rose reached out several times to the vendor. They never got back to her until they went and registered, and then something, it popped up again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe we should have just left it open, then we wouldn't have, but, I mean, it's 2 years,
In 2 years, you would think that.
Yeah, you would think that you would have something,
Yeah, well, you would think that the vendor
Right,
would,
exactly,
yeah.
And the one
Their
with
accounts receivables,
with Phoenix Lab that we just passed, that was August of 2017. We just got that invoice last month.
and it's a,
So,
Mary, a question for you. In regards to what our procurement policy is, would the chief just be authorized to pay the $1,200? I mean, it's already in the budget, it's in there for training.
oh
And-
yeah, but the fact that this is last,
No, I know, but I'm saying because
Yes.
I'm looking at this, you register, the invoice is produced the date of registration, it shows what the PO is. Why can't we just make a payment right then?
we usually wait for an invoice. I mean, if they don't give us an invoice.
No, I know, but if
You
this
know.
is unfortunately something that's historically happening, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe with this one vendor especially, we register, we pay
Yeah.
right then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it should be an authorized level for him. I think it's well
Oh, it
below
definitely is, yeah. No,
Yeah.
we wouldn't normally need a resolution for this.
Right,
But
and-
because
and-
we're paying in 2018 and it's
Right.
a prior year expense, we wouldn't be, need a
Yeah, it's just
resolution.
crazy that 2 years later
2
is
years.
well,
what.
how did they register the second year and attend the
That's
second
what
year?
I said, yeah.
When
Had it-
16
yeah,
wasn't paid yet?
Yeah,
So in 18, they say, hey,
They obviously don't get audits every year from any government official.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. We definitely had the.
yeah, I mean,
officers go through the training.
I think we have it pretty much under control. I think years ago, we would have a whole list, I don't know if you remember,
Oh, I
Kenny.
remember,
We would
yeah.
have a whole list
oh
of,
my God,
of
yeah.
invoices that,
Especially from engineering.
that
that
came
was-
to the,
It was, remember that?
No, I know.
Yeah.
so I think the departments do, do their due diligence and, like I said, we do follow up with them with the outstanding purchase order report and,
Okay.
so.
All right, Mary Ann.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. Okay. Okay, so that completes the work session for this evening. Is there any members of the public that would like to come up and comment on any of the work session items that we covered this evening? Come on up at this time.
I think it's fairly fascinating. Why didn't the attendees just use their credit card and submit it as part of their, how do you call it, their travel expenses?
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's really awful that a controller has to worry about such nasty details. I mean, I thought like some of these things would be stale dated. Banks won't cut a check after 90 days or half a year or whatever. So I would consider this, tell them to stuff it. Get their act together. That's just my comment.
all right, thank you. Appreciate your comments. Okay, anyone else here for the agenda items that we covered?
There was an agenda item regarding Society Hill Transportation Corp. Was that removed?
Yeah, that was
recently?
removed because council couldn't be with us this evening. Greg Falchetti, the town
Okay,
council.
when was that removed?
It was removed today.
Today.
Was it today, Ann, or when was it? When was it removed?
Will it be on next
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Originally, town council thought he could have made it here tonight for the town board meeting, but I received
Yeah,
the
'cause
call
we
from
spoke
him.
with him.
Yeah, I received the call from him, and he said that he wasn't able to make it, and he asked if we could put it out off until the 25th, Ann? 2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Just a thought on that invoice situation. You may want to consider putting a stipulation on your, along the way, to say invoices not submitted within a period of time are done. This way you hold your accrual until that time period. And that time period you may decide should be a year. But you hold that time accrual. If it goes past that point in time, it may be 90 days. I don't know what you decide what it is, but at the point when they receive the authorization for the work, within that it says
Submit
all
the-
invoices must be delivered X amount of time after service,
Yeah.
and this way you're covered. And this way, if they submit it 2 years later,
It's on
at
them.
least you have a leg.
Right.
You have a leg to stand on that.
Yeah.
I mean, these are small amounts, but you can get something
Yeah, but it could
that's-
be something else too. I mean, it
could
could be
get
something
something
else.
that's
So,
huge.
but you
Yeah.
don't want to have, you want to hold those things. You don't want to have to be dealing with it. You want to hold those things in accrual, but you don't want to hold them forever either. So you
Years,
can't just hold them
yeah.
forever.
February.
So a reasonable time, I think, would be half a year. I think, right?
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Can we do that, Mary Ann? We'll ask Greg.
It's a good suggestion, though, Mike. It is.
Municipalities, I don't know.
In the private world, they do it, they can do that, right? I'm not sure about municipal.
absolutely in the private world. I
don't know.
You'd have to.
I
Yeah.
don't know if the police department would be able to register for this conference if they didn't pay them the past 2 years, or, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just doesn't
Yeah.
happen in this situation. I'm
No,
sure
I
it
know,
happens
yeah,
in other
yeah,
situations.
yeah.
But I would still
Yeah, well-
make it a rule of thumb. I mean, it would
Yeah, we'll ask Greg, yeah.
Yeah, all right,
Yep.
good. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Okay, all right. Work session agenda items. Anyone else here for that? Okay, there being none, I'll open the floor now to public comment for the open forum portion of the meeting. Does anybody would like to come up for open forum? Jerry?
Yes, Jerry Rovnitsky from Mahopac. I assume that you put off the resolution that was discussed at the last work session?
Which resolution is that,
Supposed to be-
Jerry?
That was in regard to the let's see. This was in regard to making the pipelines and infrastructure safer.
We did that resolution.
We did that one.
We
That was
did
the
that.
long.
That was the
resolution
long one that-
By Councilwoman McDonough
Yes.
and Supervisor Schmidt, right?
Right,
right.
You picked up almost 3 out of the 5 pages.
Yeah, I was exhausted by the time I finished
Yeah,
reading.
that one,
Was that-
we approved that.
Yep, we already
Yes.
approved that resolution.
That's been approved.
Yes.
Okay.
Approved it, yes.
Yep.
Okay. I did want to also mention that it has been approved by quite a few different towns and counties: Bedford, Cortland, Lewisboro, North Salem, Pound Ridge, Somers, the village of Croton-on-Hudson, Southeast, the town of Tustin in Sullivan County, and the county legislators of Putnam and Rockland have passed it, and there seems to be broad support from Ulster County and Westchester County and the city of White Plains. So it seems like there's a lot of support for this. And the Sierra Atlantic chapter has been asked to try to move this to other areas of the state as well. They cover the entire state and have many thousands of members. So we're trying to get that. So I just wanted to mention that it is progressing, and there are even people outside the state that are moving toward passing the same resolution to their states.
Good, thanks,
Good,
Jerry.
thanks, Jerry. Thank you. Okay, anyone else, sir?
Good evening. Russ Braun, Mahopac resident. I haven't been here in a while. I better do fast talking. Last night, just scrolling through the TV, I found out that the recycled bins have to not have plastic bags in.
Yes.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, yeah. Well, I'm not involved with that because it's gonna be hard for people that have to drag their stuff out to the road, then dump the plastic bags into the container. And what's gonna happen to those plastic bags? They're gonna be thrown out anyway. I'm a recycler, we have, we have all of that stuff, but I just don't understand that.
The main reason for that was because
The plastic bags, were they dropping?
well, no, it's more because of the station that the refuse is brought to in order
Yeah.
to separate it out,
Right.
single-stream recycling. And I think what it comes down to is the cost for someone to open that up so that they can then start separating everything out. So now, everything just, I'm in that exact position. I have to drive my refuse down my driveway. I have to open up my plastic bag, I shake it out, and then I drop in my plastic bag anyway. So it doesn't reduce the recycling, but I think all that it's really for is to reduce the amount of manpower that's needed at the,
So it's a manpower situation, but what happens to that plastic bag?
it still goes in the recycling. They just don't want everything wrapped in the plastic bag so that someone has to open up the plastic bag and
Okay,
then
I guess.
sort.
I guess I get it, I don't know.
You and I are in the same boat, it just seems.
You guys have a
Is it
container
sinking?
in the house? I have a
I do,
recycling
but how do I
container
get
in the
my
house.
recycling container down to my garbage can
I
600
take
feet
it out of my
away?
house and and then dump it and then bring that up. Yeah, you're, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Talk to
Well,
I'll talk to
I'm
him.
not in this situation because I'm paying extra for an off-road pickup, okay?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, we're getting stung, 4 of us, on a common drive, okay? With that, my road, the common drive, is being wrecked by the big trucks. For how many years have they been there? I forget, that's the last time I was up here. I don't know, was it 5 years ago, 4 years ago? When you contracted with
When we first
AAA?
started, 5 years.
Whenever, but
5 years. We're in the fifth.
they use the big trucks on our small road, and the road is deteriorating. Our Carters prior to that used small trucks, okay? So I don't know where to go with that, but we're not gonna have a road, and I don't think we're gonna get 4 people to agree that we're gonna pave it ourselves. I don't know who would look into that for me.
Can our
The garbage truck is going, the large garbage truck is
Large,
going up your private
yes,
road?
yes,
Because they
yes.
use, don't forget, they use the forks that come out.
No,
and lift it up.
not that one. No. This is a hand-picked up.
Oh, you have an actual guy that comes out? Mine don't.
What do you think I'm paying extra hundreds of dollars a year for?
So, yeah, you're paying for private driveway service?
Yes,
You and
but
your
we have a
neighbors do
common
that?
drive that handles 4 houses, okay?
All right,
So maybe we can call them and ask them if they could bring a smaller truck down
good,
there.
yeah,
We could try it. Well, I was
Where-
gonna say,
where's your,
we should give them a
Tea
call.
Kettle Spout Road,
okay.
23, 25, 27, and 31.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll have,
We'll
was
have
it the
Donna,
engineer? We'll have Donna
23.
give them a call and see if they can, start using a smaller truck to go down there,
Yeah, but how about repairing the road for me?
you know.
Where is
That-
there, where
that I
is
don't
there,
know.
where is it? So you have a private driveway with
It-
4 homes.
It's a right-of-way, yes, for 4 homes,
What's the
correct.
name, is there a name of that private road?
No.
Okay, so it's a
right
private
of
driveway,
way.
and there's 4 homes on it?
Yeah.
Got it, 23, 25,
20,
Seven,
it's
and
23 Tea
37.
Kettle and 31 as you go in.
Got it. Okay.
25 and 27 in the back.
okay. All right, we'll look into that.
Okay?
I'm not sure about, we'll look into, see if they could bring a smaller truck in there, but as far as repairing a private driveway, it's highly unlikely that they're gonna agree to
Wasn't
do
caused
that.
by us.
I know, well,
Well, there you go. What do I do, sue them?
I,
Oh,
if I
there you
recall,
go.
this
Litigate again,
happened-
okay.
oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just not sure that they would agree to make repairs to a private driveway that you entered in,
I'm not asking the town
I
to do
know.
it. I'm just saying it's caused by those large vehicles going
Correct.
down our road.
Yeah.
How many have time, I don't know how many times a week, 4 times a week, say.
Well, we'll speak to them about that. We'll
Okay.
contact and find out if they could bring a smaller truck in there,
Okay?
a lighter truck.
Doesn't help the condition of our road, but, okay.
All right.
I agree. All right. Now, I just have a couple other things. I'll talk fast. One thing that I brought, in fact, both things that I brought up the last time I was here a long time ago, that I would like a warning sign that indicates Tea Kettle Spout Road on West Lovell Street. West Lovell Street going west, okay?
Right.
There's a sign that indicates Lakeview Drive. Then there's a sign that indicates there's a stop sign. But there is no sign that indicates Tea Kettle Spout Road. Same sign.
Just have to ask Mike Simone to take a look
Yeah.
for a street sign.
I just would like to have that sign there, so when I get T-boned, because it's hell at the top of my road, trying to make a left. Right's not a problem, because there's a stop sign.
So streets.
Trying to
But
make
it's-
a left.
it's-
It's the left.
It's the left.
Yeah.
They rip around that corner like, and then you get the horn and see you around. All right?
Okay.
That was the old one. That's an old one. And here's another old one, a stop sign on Bucks Hollow Road going east.
Going east.
I asked about that 100 years ago.
I just have one question for you, Mr. Bruns.
Sure.
Going back to Tea Kettle and West Level,
Yeah?
Tea Kettle and West Level, they don't intersect.
What am I talking about?
You
Union-
said Tea Kettle and West Level Street?
Yeah, is it Lovell
They
Street?
don't intersect.
What's
Tea
the-
Kettle intersects with Union Valley Road, not
No,
West
no,
Level.
no, it's on the bottom, on the top,
On the top, at the four-way, you're talking about
at the
four-
four-way stop
at
sign.
the
Isn't that
four-way
West Lovell
intersection?
Street?
No,
What is it?
at the four-way stop? So
No,
when you
no,
come-
not a four-way stop.
So, all right,
Tea Kettle Spout Road. I go north on Tea Kettle Spout
Right.
Road. I can't go any further.
Right.
I gotta make a left to get to Mount Hope to go
Yeah.
down. What's that road?
that's
West Lovell.
Union Valley Road. Union Valley Road.
It's not Union
Yes,
Valley
it is.
Road, man. No,
It's not West Level Street. If you get to the four-way intersection,
What four-way intersection?
there's a four-way stop intersection.
Where?
Kenny, if you go to the top of Mount Hope Road, what road's that?
Kennecott Hill Road.
I'm sorry, Kennecott. I didn't mean West Lovell. I'm sorry, it's Kennecott. I stand corrected.
It's not West
So
Level,
we're,
it's Kennicott.
we're on the other end.
No, no, no. I'm talking about,
Yeah.
I'm
Kennecott
sorry.
turns into Lovell.
Union Valley.
Yep.
But he misunderstood West
He
Level.
meant
It's
Kennecott.
Kennecott Road, okay?
So Tea Kettle and Kennecott.
Tea Kettle and
street
Kennecott.
Which is
sign.
right at the
I guess.
meeting of Kennecott and Lovell.
Yeah, it's at the confluence of,
Right by the cemetery.
Yes.
And the old Bailey House.
Cemetery. Yeah, yes.
From Barnum and Bailey's.
No,
No, it's higher up.
it's
guys.
higher up. Guys, you're way back.
Where the
It's
cemetery,
like near Lake.
It's by Mantovi's.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's
The
near,
whole park goes septic,
it's by, it's,
closer
right,
up to that way.
it's near Lakeview Road. Lakeview Road, Mount Hope, it's between Lakeview Road and Mount Hope.
Lakeview Road, Tea Kettle Spout, and Mount Hope,
Right? Yes,
yep,
okay?
got it.
okay.
I
All right,
stand
and you would
corrected,
like-
it's
and you would-
Kennecott, whatever
you're-
it is.
So you would like a sign there,
I would like a sign indicating
Yeah.
that Tea Kettle is coming out, just as there's a sign saying that Lakeview Drive is coming out.
okay,
When you're
got
coming-
it.
When you're coming.
And that was 3 years ago, 4 years
coming
ago.
up Tea Kettle
Right.
towards Mount Hope.
Yeah.
He'd like a warning sign saying that there's an intersection.
There is another road coming, you know?
Coming around that turn.
Got it.
They're ripping around that turn, so when I get T-boned, at least I can tell my lawyer, hey,
So he would
you know?
like a,
And we do have them around
Yeah,
town, so that's
yeah.
something we have to ask the chief
And,
the
highway
su-
superintendent.
They go out and survey it, then they can put it out.
Yeah, there is a sign indicating the stop sign coming, okay? And the sign indicating Lakeview. I'd like a sign indicating TK.
Correct.
Got it.
Just for the lawsuit,
Yeah.
okay?
okay,
All right.
I got you now.
I'm sorry about that,
No,
Kennecott.
that's okay. No,
All right, now, the other one was, again, 3 years ago, a stop sign at Bucks Hollow.
I think we
Bucks
had,
Hollow Road.
I feel like we had discussed that with
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
Simone, and he said that he had already researched that and said he didn't see.
This is like old stuff.
It is, yeah.
I'm just rehashing, that's all, nothing ever happened.
Bucks Hollow Road is
There you go.
No, but I think Mike.
Where's this on
Mike
Bucks
said
Hollow
it's
Road?
not.
Gary.
Bucks
Mike
Hollow
said it-
Road and intersection
By
of
wall hours.
Kennecott. Okay?
Where you come down the steep grade, the hill? and
Yeah,
then
I'm
you
coming
get-
down the hill.
Then you meet
A
up.
stop sign,
Right.
okay?
Yeah,
At the
Stop
intersection.
sign, you make a right to go to Route 6, okay?
Yep.
yeah,
We had been talking about a stop sign coming from where the
Exactly.
Italian-American Club is. You're
Coming
going up the
east,
hill.
yes.
You have the split there over by wall
Right.
hours and the bike path.
Right.
Mike Simone said two things about it.
Coming east.
There wasn't enough room.
Not enough
There wa-
accident reports, and then Mike Simone said it was also no place for a
there
sign,
was
if
no
I can
place
recall
for a
correctly.
sign,
That's
yes.
exactly.
I think
No
Yes.
place for a sign?
calling further up. He's calling between that intersection and like where 6 is, it's when you come down Kennecott and hit hit Bucks Hollow. There's no stop sign.
Yes, there is.
There is.
That way, there is.
You're talking about coming
He's-
up from...
West. No, west. I'm coming down Kennecott after I survive my turn, okay? Then I go down Kennecott and I make a left, and that's Bucks Hollow Road also.
Yes.
I
Correct,
believe,
yes,
okay? Am I
yes.
right? Okay.
Yep.
I gotta get a map.
Yep.
You go down and there's a stop sign.
There's the stop
Yes.
sign there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
If I want to make a right, I go to Route 6. If I want to go straight, I make my stop and I go straight
Yep.
down Bucks Hollow.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. There is no sign for anybody coming east.
Correct.
On Bucks Hollow.
Right,
Right.
right.
And that's, and we had
It should be a
discussed that with
stop
Mike
sign.
Simone and with Chief
That's Mike's
Kazari.
call, and they, at that time, I'm almost.
We can have him
positive-
revisit it.
Yeah, we'll have him revisit it,
There you go.
but it was.
I
yeah,
come
they
every
did-
4 years, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they did talk about it, and they said.
You know what the sad part
no.
is? Until there's really a horrific accident, that's when you'll hear someone say, okay, now, as
I
either the law
understand that.
enforcement
Well, you don't
professional.
want to see that happen.
I agree 100%.
So,
Absolutely.
but that's all. I'll see you again in 4 years. Oh, yeah,
all right.
I'm retired from New York City Police. You know, if you give me a police car and a summons book, you wouldn't have to do bonds.
No quotas, though.
like
Those
that.
are, those are no longer allowed.
You're hired.
Says the controller, he's hired.
He's hired. Okay, thank you, Mr. Braun. Thanks for being here. Okay, is there anybody else for a new business open forum? Ed?
Good evening. My name's Ed Barnett. I'm the chairman of the Lake Mayapack Park District. We are going to have a public informational meeting on the 31st of July at the Mayapack Library at 7 p.m. There'll be notices in the paper. We want to discuss the water quality issues and any other information that people might want to hear about what's going on with the lake and what's... We will be doing this also with the Putnam County Health Department, so it'll be co-hosted. I just wanted to make that announcement. It'll be appearing in the newspapers in the next couple of weeks.
So we could keep repurposing that announcement until the 30th at every weekly meeting, if you'd like.
That'd be fine.
Just give me something, Ed. Do you have an announcement?
Yeah,
Do you have something written up? like
I
that?
did, and it disappeared, so...
Can you get that to me?
Yeah, we'll get it to you. It'll also, we'll get it to the Mayapack News at least, and
And
whatever you
I'll
can
make the
do.
announcement at the end of our meetings.
Okay, that'd be
Up
great.
until that point, okay?
Great.
All
It was a
right.
short meeting, and I raced over here. Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Ed.
Ed, thank you for getting back to me also.
It's a Tuesday night, the 31st,
31st,
at the library.
okay.
Have a nice evening. Thank you.
too.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Have a good night, yep. Okay. Is there anybody else? No? Sure. Huh?
Meeting tonight, or what the planning would be for the town of Carmel. Did I miss
Oh,
something?
yeah,
Oh,
that was,
on
Oh, that was the planning board.
No.
No,
I
I know- I know the one you
mistake.
read.
What?
It wasn't tonight. I don't,
No, but that was in the paper.
Was.
it was, but I don't know
Yeah,
why.
it was
Yeah,
published.
Bob, in the paper, it was saying tonight
made a
was a
mistake?
meeting for, you know, the meeting we had a few weeks ago? Like,
The-
yeah. They ran the wrong. I think, yeah, they cut and
work
paste.
session, yeah, with all the boards.
So when will it be?
We are going to have another meeting. The people that signed up are going to be getting an email within the next week. I think the,
What did we talk about? It was the middle
shoot.
of August, right, Sue?
Annie, do you remember the date that I chose? August, it was August something. Well, I asked
First week
Annie
of-
if it was
Is it the
good.
first week of August, or what?
No, it's August,
August 9th.
August 9th.
That's a
Yep, at
Wednesday.
6:30. It's a Thursday.
Was it Thursday?
Yep, yep, at 6:30.
Maybe by Thursday, you're
Yeah,
right.
that'll be the follow-up all boards meeting. So if you wanted to attend that, just give Annie your email address. I'm sure I have it, but give it to
No,
her.
but
and I'll-
because I was interested in
I'll put
hearing
you on
about
the
it
list.
and put
Yeah.
my 2 cents in maybe.
Yeah, because this is a follow-up. We already had that meeting.
Okay.
The one that
Now,
you're
this will
talking about.
involve what happened with Swan Cove and things like that, the
Well,
parking in town.
not, 'cause some.
We'll talk about
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, we talk about everything.
Oh, I understand. But it's
Yeah.
basically where the town of Carmel is going, right?
Yes, the
It says
town code,
architecturally,
planning,
Infrastructure,
traffic
architectural,
control,
code, zoning,
yeah.
zoning.
Yeah.
Master
Trying
plan,
to get new businesses
Parks and
in,
Rec.
especially
Chamber of Commerce, everything.
like a hotel.
Yeah,
If
so,
I have visitors here, nearest one was way over in Danbury. So
Airbnb, unfortunately, is the only thing you can do in this town right now.
Is what?
Airbnb.
Oh,
Oh, there's about a dozen in the town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, there are?
yeah.
You mean like what we would call bed and breakfast type places?
that's it exactly.
Much.
Okay. But are they advertised as B and Bs or equivalent?
No, no, in fact, I don't think that
do-
we even have
do-
a
no, we-
code for B and Bs,
No, we do. We have a few, we have a few bed and breakfasts here.
So Airbnb is under the radar then? What,
I didn't say no.
I think
No, we don't.
Airbnb is this thing on the app
yeah,
that you
but
do.
it's basically under the radar and
It's
not
basically
controlled.
like, you can own a house and you can say, I'm gonna rent it out per night, and here's what you're gonna pay me for it. And there's no regulation at the town whatsoever in regards to it.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, I've got to come, the 9th, I thought it was tonight, I kept looking for,
The 9th.
I'll give you my address, okay?
Thursday's
Thank you.
9th.
Thank you.
That's a Thursday.
That's Thursday.
Thursday.
Just quickly regarding that recycle. I looked up Yorktown, and Yorktown Heights picks up their leaves, okay? And they have paper bags that the leaves go in, and then I guess the town picks it up, you know, at the roadside. The bags cost, I think it's $20 for 50 bags. It's just something that you could look into, you know? I'm probably not to pick up the leaves. You know, they are paper bags.
We would love to look into a lot of things. We had previously been down at Bedford looking at their recycling facility, which included yard refuse. We're trying to figure out a lot of different solutions, and that's definitely a great recommendation to look into.
Thanks, Russ.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
I just have one thing, the Carmel Cable Advisory Committee, it will be sending, actually through Bob Dumas and through, what's your face up there in Putnam? Eric Gross.
Eric Gross,
Yeah,
Courier.
they would like, if you are a Comcast customer or were a Comcast customer, they're asking for your input because they have a new, agreement coming
Yes.
up, and they would like input from everybody. So,
They
that,
just
that,
want feedback,
they
right?
just want feedback of what you'd like to
About your
see,
service.
what about your services. So it'll be in the, Putnam County Courier and the Mahopac News. So just look where you can send that to. And that was it.
We want Comcast to open a local office again. A local, they had
They
it
used
up
to have
in
it, yeah.
Carmel at Old
Yep.
Route 6, then they moved everything to Danbury. So
Yeah.
we're gonna ask that they reopen a local office here to service the local residents,
Yeah.
Comcast.
We have not much problem with Verizon Fios, where is their offices?
Theirs is over by ShopRite and Carmel Cineplex.
Yep.
Yep.
If you go inside where Carmel Cineplex is, off of 52.
No, that's not really dealing, they're a vendor, they're hopeless.
No comment.
I mean, we had problems with routers with them.
That is the office that I would go to if I needed a new box or a remote or a router, but that's the office, unfortunately, that services the town.
Okay. All right, does anybody else have any other announcements? John?
No.
I'm interested,
Well,
we saw the sign.
can I ask you to come up to the, yeah, so they can hear you at home?
Okay. I saw the sign near the firehouse about the inaugural parade
Yes.
for our Medal of Honor winner.
Yes.
And but the bizarre point is that apparently it's going to be up in Lake Goodnight, and there's no announcement up there. And I think it's fantastic that we're honoring this man.
Yeah, I noticed
There's-
that, I
there's a
noticed that
few of
too.
them.
There is
You
some.
notice that? Yeah,
there's some
it's the
message boards.
21st.
Yeah,
And I think we should make a big deal of it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Absolutely.
think-
No,
you know
I
what I
agree
mean?
with you, yeah.
The only 2 or 3 a year get to be that
Yeah,
fantastic honor. What?
Yeah, Purple Heart Homes is hosting it. with the county and the veteran services up there. And it, like you said, it'll be July 1st, but it's going to be a very
21st.
large,
21st.
July 21st, yeah.
Up on Route 52
Yep.
in the Hamlet
It's
of
going to be a
Carmel.
very large parade, and everyone should really attend it because, like you said, there's going to be Medal of Honors there. I think there's going to be more than one, if I'm not mistaken. I think
three.
there's three.
There's three,
Four?
right?
Is
Four.
it-
There's four Medal of Honors coming.
Oh, 4?
I believe
Four,
four.
yeah.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
I think it's a big deal, anyways.
It is.
But they should have
Everyone
a
should
sign
go
up there
up
too.
there.
I just, bizarre, because I don't think we're having as much traffic here as we'll have in Carmel. I thought it was sort of weird.
Yeah, I
saw the variable
It's
message
by the,
boards
it's
out.
by the firehouse both
I
ways.
saw them down here, and when you're traveling west
Yes.
on 6, it's right by the temple, right? Right by the
Yes.
Temple
And
Bell.
it's a very
There's one
complicated-
there, and there's one
Very
over here.
long.
Very
It's
complicated, it
long.
goes through 3 pages, and you,
Yes.
and you cannot read it all while you're there. They need to shorten it, if you have any control over that. But anyways, I just mentioned that we should be doing something more than just a simple road sign like that.
Yeah, that's the county.
Was that a county? Yeah.
The county is handling it. Yep.
Well, we can make that announcement. If we have, again, if we have the announcement,
Yeah, we can make it, yeah.
we could do that,
Yeah.
especially next
And
week.
Annie
We'll
will
do
make
that.
up a flyer,
We'll make the
Yep.
announcement here.
and we'll put it on our website.
Yeah, as an
Post it on our
activity.
Facebook page.
Post it on our Facebook, that's right.
Okay, all right, so that's it. We do not have executive session tonight, so we're going to close the meeting from here. We'll meet back here again next Wednesday, the 18th of July, for Town Board voting meeting. So I need a motion to close this meeting.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Good night, everyone. Be well. See you next Wednesday,
All right.
7 PM, Town Board voting meeting.